before we begin, we just want to ask you all, if you enjoy our videos and love our stuff, to please support us. We've got members now.
Yes,
here,
memberships are on the channel.
as well as Patreon, Subscribestar, and Utreon.
Do you want to guess what the members are called?
Knights.
Yes! Knights!
So if you want to be a knight, then you can join us and just help support us make these videos, because recently our revenue's just gone off a cliff, and so it would help us be sustainable and forecast at least ahead of time.
It would give us security. So please join the watch. The help is genuinely appreciated, because that's really the way that would be able to gain security moving forward, because ad revenue is not reliable anymore, unfortunately. And to everyone who is supporting us, thank you very much. It means the world. Welcome back to The Watch, and we just watched the Super Mario Brothers. And I find it always interesting after we review a film, but on the drive back, it's like dead silent, because we don't want to share our thoughts or have any of the discussion on the drive back, because we want to save it for the video, for the review. So I have no idea what you guys thought of it, but I'm just going to come out of the gate and say, I did not care for this film. I did not like it, and I found it annoying.
Wow, fighting words. I loved this film. I smiled throughout, and I really enjoyed it. And I'd watch a sequel.
Are you a fan of like Super Mario or Nintendo, stuff like that?
No.
Okay. I didn't care. I'm not a Nintendo fan. I'm not really a Super Mario fan. It's not a bad film. I just didn't care. Like, there's just no other way to describe it. If you're a Mario fan, you might like it. You might actually enjoy it. There's
if
lots
you're a
of
Mario
eggs.
fan, I think you will love it, because it
There is nostalgia and references all throughout.
I think, I was watching this film and thinking over all the, Rings of Power and Wheel of Time. If there was this amount of Easter eggs and care put into any one of those franchises, I reckon either of you would have been like, this is a fantastic, TV show, especially with Amazon stuff.
Maybe. You see, for me, yes, adapting the world and being respectful to the source material is really important, but there needs to be an underlining story that takes you through, gets you invested. And for me, there was nothing there on that front.
In terms of animation, it's really good.
Oh,
it's actually top tier animation. How they adapted the world, I think, is really good.
Really good.
It's very good.
In fact, I think the best thing they did is adapting such a dumb world, and one of the strengths of it is that they just don't care. Nothing makes sense. They don't give a crap. They just lean into it. This is the world. That's how it is. Nothing makes sense, but kids will love it as a result.
And I think, look, I'm glad that there were parts where I was like, we should probably question this, but they didn't answer anything, which I'm fine with, because I feel like if they started to try to explain how this world works,
they would probably make it worse.
It would not work, and it would make a much worse movie. With the fact that they kind of didn't care, made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's just, this is the way it is. Now, even though I didn't like the film, I think kids will love it. They will get a lot of fun out of it. It's goofy, and they don't really need to think too deeply. Now, I don't necessarily think we should give kids' movies a pass, though, when it comes to gauging the actual quality of them, because some kids' movies can be absolutely phenomenal. And for me, one of the gold standards to actually compare the height of what kids' movies can achieve in terms of quality of characterization, storytelling, emotional payoff, investment, incredible music, and engaging story is the first How to Train Your Dragons film. That is an amazing, amazing film. I love it to bits.
I love when you tell us the films you love. What was it last week? Megamind? He's like, Megamind is top tier.
That was left field. I was like, I wasn't expecting that one. Well, I think the movie is for me, underrated is A Bug's Life.
Yeah?
The end of that film where the ants stand up to Hopper, and it has this whole power dynamic. It has funny adult jokes with clowns and things in the city, and lots of bug puns. Old Pixar, I think, was the best children, but adults can enjoy it as well. But yeah, Train Your Dragon 2, that was a powerful movie.
Phenomenal. And when you compare it to, say, something like this film, Mario Brothers, right? I get nothing out of it. To me, Mario basically achieves nothing but apart from being a punching bag, there's a theme of not giving up, but all the major, successes are handed to him. And in actual fact, right, Mario, he does save, Donkey Kong. He does save Luigi at 2 points, but at no point do they dare let him save Peach. In actual fact, in reverse, Peach saves him multiple times, and he would be dead flat out multiple times if not for Peach. And even the climax is subverted by that. And so there is a personal kind of bias I have where I get unbalanced, inordinately annoyed by annoying modern woke tropes. And this film isn't woke in the sense where no character makes a statement like, privilege this or bias that or anything like what we saw in, say, The Batman, where Catwoman just comes out with a dumb line, and you can see these things, but they are very, very just overt, like unashamed of making Peach such an insufferable girl boss that,
Thoughts, Nathan?
I disagree. I don't think she was insufferable. I think it was to a character.
Okay. I find it insufferable because I see it so often.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my daughter will actually love Peach because there's going to be a power fantasy kind of, she's so awesome that she always is amazing. She's an insufferable, and I find that insufferable. That's a Mary Sue. And so when I say it's annoying, those are the things that annoy me. And the more I think about this film, the more insufferable I find it. But that's my own annoyance that I'm just sick of this crap. And when I see it, it annoys me more. Where in isolation, it probably wouldn't bother me as much, but it's just, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I would have liked if Mario had saved the princess at least once. That would have been satisfying. But I just feel, I don't know, in terms of the world and the aspect of the fact, she's a princess.
Yes.
Had to look after her, as in, she's isolated. She's in charge of a kingdom. That's my head kind of why she's so capable is because she's kind of had to be. Everyone else is like little mushroom toads. She has to be kind of girl boss to
But
survive.
the thing is, though, this movie gets robbed of important stakes that you need to feel invested in the film, right? When you actually feel something is at stake of happening, something terrible, like, oh no, if Mario doesn't do this, something really bad is going to happen, and you're rooting for Mario to get it. Well, there's a moment when he that's completely subverted because someone doesn't need saving at all. She's got it all under control. And as a result, and instead they try and flip that to another character that really needs the saving. And at that point, I'm just starting to check out because they could have made it correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the fundamental, most bare bones theme of Mario in the original game was a damsel in distress story.
Yes.
Save the princess. These stories should not be hard to get wrong. And they get that completely wrong. They in that fact flip it on its head to the point where Mario needs saving more than anyone else.
Yes,
but more than Peach.
As well, they're just trying to adapt more than one game as well. I think those are the original ones, but they're also trying to do Mario Kart, there's Smash Bros stuff. They have this whole library and all these different characters and decades worth of development that I reckon people who, if there was just Princess Peach being saved, people will be like, well, hang on, in these other games and adaptations, she's this girl boss character who can do her own thing. So
they could have done both. They could have made her more competent, but still have the damsel in distress element that can really empower the heroic character to step up and save the day. But they didn't have that. Now, is that going to matter for most audience watchers? Probably not.
No.
But I think there's going to be a subconscious thing, because people have emotional responses to very classic storytelling tropes because they connect to them, okay? Guess what? A lot of girls do like to be saved, okay? They like to be saved by the hero. A lot of guys do like to try and save and be the hero as well. And as a result, oftentimes those themes resonate and cause a strong emotional reaction. This is why I have a really positive emotional reaction when I see fatherhood depicted strongly, where a father is willing to sacrifice everything to save his children. That gets me. That gets me in the heart every time, and I can enjoy and connect to a film so much better. And even if I didn't understand the actual storytelling mechanics of what's going on, the result would be more positive. And I think a lot of people would have a more emotional investment in this film if they actually had more significant stakes at play, where Mario could be a far more like winning hero. And he achieves things from his own competence, planning everything. There's only one kind of thing you could say he does that's clever. Everything else is that he's a punching bag, and then he gets given a superpower, and because he has that superpower, then he wins. And he doesn't do much of his own competence to gain those powers and power-ups. In fact, there's key moments in the film where they're overtly given to him that if it wasn't another character doing it for him, he would have died.
Okay, but hold on with that criticism. I don't even care for Mario, but even I have to defend that. That is literally the game, though. You get the power ups.
But you have to go out of your way to get the power ups. I don't want to give spoilers, but we will go into a spoiler section. One of the most climactic elements of the film is someone else giving him the key superpower for him to save the day, and if not, he would have died.
Nathan.
I still enjoyed it. I had fun.
You can enjoy it. I'm glad you did.
I'm trying to think of whether for me it degraded my experience because the fact that they have like giant floating blocks, you can go up and punch and then get the power. I feel like that isn't much of a, you don't have to really work for it. You just punch a block and then get the power. It's not like other, stories where they have to like go through like a dungeon lair and fight through monsters and whatever. There's the block, hit it, and you get a power up. And like
just like in the game,
we see in the world, like people just like punching the power ups like it's nothing. Like I feel like maybe having power ups like that in that world, in that whole world setting, kind of degrades the story because you don't really work for it anyways.
Oh no, because usually the power is at a location that you need to go through obstacles to get.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk more in the spoilers about specific plot elements and stuff. Having said, like everything that I said, they adapt the world really well, okay? I think kids will have a blast with it. If you're invested in the Mario world, it's a good chance you'll like it. Nathan really likes it. For me, I like it is very mid, and then added onto the frustrations and annoyances I see in it when I start to break down the story, then that makes it even worse for me as I start to analyze the film.
I would say a genuine criticism of it is like, how we said don't question the world, don't question the story, because like there are just moments where things happen and everybody's just like, yep, this is what's happening now. Like when Mario meets Peach, that's not a spoiler, obviously,
Yeah.
It's just like, who are you? Oh, you're this person. Okay, you can come with me. It's
like for me, I feel like watching that as well was kind of like, oh, a bit taken aback. There wasn't much build up there. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? Just get to the good part. Get to the part where like you guys are friends now. You guys can go save the world. I'm happy with that.
And look, there are moments when he has the powers where they get the music going and it becomes very fun and kids are going to love those elements. And like I said, the world is just... I'm not a fan of the world because I find it contradictory, nonsensical, and stupid, but they don't care, and I'm glad that they didn't care, and they just lean into it, and as a result, fans will love that. For me, the most likable character in this was Toad.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
I feel
Toad was good.
Toad was great.
He had great personality. He was plucky and enjoyable and friendly, and easily for me the most likable character. Who's the most likable character for you guys?
I don't think I have the most likable. My biggest thing coming to this was Chris Pratt's voice acting.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we should talk about that.
And I was very because
they do something interesting.
They do. It didn't ruin it for me. My biggest worry was that it was going to be Chris Pratt going, "It's a me, Chris Pratt, Yahoo!" But it wasn't that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. They did it in a way where you can go, okay, fine.
Okay, so for me, this is the thing, right? Because I have no real connection to the source material, okay? And I do believe you should absolutely respect fans and everything like that. For a normie, in terms of the Mario franchise, I think this voice is better than the game voice because I would find the game voice, if it's continual and dialogue was done in that all throughout the film, I would end up finding it insufferably annoying.
I would have loved it, but at this point, I think this movie can't do any wrong to me.
The thing is, though, they do give a nod to the accent. It comes out here and there. But I think overall, if you're going to try and appeal to a broader audience, it was a better choice to go with a more tolerable voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to I don't know, you get the Jar Jar Binks effect where you just have this annoying voice constantly.
Careful. Careful now, Shad.
I see, as a fan, right, I was really worried with that because having played all the games, like I wanted to see Mario actually, have conversations with people and do stuff. And I was really, Chris, like in the trailers especially, he's just like, let's go. Like it was didn't feel like he was really trying. But when I watched this movie in its full context, it didn't ever break me out of the experience. Which is for like fans, like it's important to know that this movie isn't going to be bad when you go see it if you actually enjoy this stuff.
It's a fine line to dance as to being honest and accurate as possible to the source material versus trying to be more consumable to a wider audience, where I think they hold on to heaps of nostalgia elements. They do acknowledge the accent in the film, which I find in an interesting way. And so I think for most fans, it's not going to be too much of an issue as a result.
I find it interesting, now that I think back to the trailer, when you actually see the moments from the trailer in the film, they're not as bad. It's just, it felt like, now that I'm thinking back to the trailer really was not good.
No.
And it seems like it was very purposely done to be, like, when we did that, remember how bad it was? Remember when you first watched it, and I saw it from across the room without audio, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
When you actually watch the film, there's so many more moments where I'm like, why didn't they put this in the trailer?
Yeah.
Why didn't they put this in the trailer? This is way better.
Part of me feels like they weren't done yet with animating, but you'd even think as well, if that's going to be like a trailer segment you'd finish that first. So, yeah. The funny thing too, it's same with Dungeons and Dragons. Like the trailer did not market the movie well.
Yeah, absolutely with Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't know what's up with that because I feel like then you're giving them an audience and they go see the movie and then they're like, oh, I don't like this movie. We're like, so we like go to see it. And we're like, oh, that was brilliant. I love that.
Let's just see if Indy 5 is good. Is actually good. Yeah, let's see if the trailer is.
I tell you what, if Indy 5 is not as bad as we think, I will be shocked.
Whoever they're doing all these trailers needs to be fired.
So this film for me is pretty hard to rate because they do some things very well in terms of the world, some of the excitement, the music I thought was creatively done, where they actually have more commonly known soundtracks that come in that I felt match the scene, and then there's the nostalgic musics that come in. There were some fun moments, like the opening. You see this in the trailer where Cooper meets the penguin people. That was a fun, very well done scene. Then I go back to, I feel the underlining plot is so just flat and so little it engages you based on the actual writing of what's there that I really don't care and I wasn't invested. And then the actual annoyances of what I feel this is a film that was very cognizant of it being a film made for modern audiences. Not so far, but it's definitely there with the whole can't save Peach and stuff. If I didn't have my annoyance and bias, I'd probably be giving it a 5. But again, the more I think about it, it goes down to a 4 almost. So, but that's me. That's me.
I think if you're not a fan of this stuff, probably a 5 or 4. Like there isn't much there if you don't have any context or enjoy what you are seeing on the screen. But if you are in any way a fan of Nintendo stuff or Mario specifically,
get a lot you'll enjoy
you will get a good kick out of it because I will tell you, I haven't had many Mario movies in my lifetime that have been good. And this one, I looked at it, maybe a little bit of tear when I realized this is a video game movie that is okay. It's not Assassin's Creed, okay? It's not Hitman, all these other movie adaptations for games that have just been atrocious. This is actually, I watch this and go, I'll show someone else that doesn't play games this and be like, look, it's a video game character, and you're not, completely taken out by it.
I have another comment to share before we go into spoilers, but also, Tyranth, what's your rating on this?
I think it's a bit of an Avatar sort of thing. I think general audiences will really enjoy it. I think it's good for kids. The animation is top tier. The world is actually it's fun. Mm-hmm. It's a fun world. The story is... usually I don't question these things. Usually I'm just like, all right, let's just watch a movie, let's have fun. But it's so convenient. Every little thing is just so convenient to the point where I'm like, but why? But why? I was doing that a lot.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it a 6. But I think for general audiences, it's probably going to be around a 7 or 8. For people like him, giant fan.
Finally got it!
For fanboys, it's a 9.
I think it's better than the Sonic movies.
Really?
Yes.
See, I don't.
In terms
I
of
don't think so.
video game adaptation, Sonic, They just pull out his world.
Okay. In adaptation, it's more true to the world.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You can judge the story all you want. I'm just glad it's like the original.
See, I think Sonic has a better arc and is more enjoyable and better story by far.
But it's not connected to the world.
Exactly. The world adaptation is
That's the
very
problem.
poor in Sonic, yeah. I think kids will love it. In terms of, is it a good family film? Yeah, and there's nothing overt. It's more subtextual, and even then, it's not going to be like we're trying to get your kids. Nothing like that. My daughter will love it as a result of the Girl Boss Peach stuff. She's just going to think it's awesome that she is a total Mary Sue.
Okay, spoilers?
Before we go into spoilers, so King Koopa, right? In the original source material, was that his goal? Was he always after Peach in that way?
Originally, it was a lot more basic of I've stolen a princess.
Yeah,
And like
ransom maybe?
Yeah.
But like in later games, it has been I want to marry her.
Because I just got very strong simp vibes from King Koopa.
Thank you for saying that. I was going to bring it up at some point. I'm like, Bowser is a simp.
He's a
Massive simp.
Yeah.
So,
But it,
Look, Jack Black singing. I love Jack Black. Tenacious D, forever. But like, his singing in this is good, but he's a simp in this film.
To me, that's kind of the takeaway where Peach is an insufferable Mary Sue girl boss, Bowser is a simp, and Mario is a punching bag. The movie.
Yes. If we break it down to its base level, that is a fair...
but then also the most recent Mario Odyssey has kind of been a bit like that too, because Bowser does go and like simp over Peach, and Mario does.
Nathan's a fanboy, and you can't trust his opinion today.
Whoa, hey! Kenobi! Okay, I got mad.
Don't get me started.
Kenobi was bad. Okay, Mario for fanboys is good. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's good. Okay, this panel we can have.
Yes.
They're people who aren't interested in it and you can criticize it for the story, but then we also need the fans who are like, I'm happy.
I like that we get different perspectives, and
Yeah.
as a mega fan, it's good to see how you feel about the film.
Yes.
All right, so now we will be moving into spoilers. This is your spoiler, a warning. You've heard our ratings on it, and now we'll start to break this down in a bit more detail. And it's going to be more story things, but there'll be other mentions, because the opening of the film, I felt was they did a creative way of handling the accent, where the accent was put on
As an ad.
Yeah.
And then they even say, was the accent too much? No, it's good. And so they kind of acknowledge it, and then they also explain why he's speaking differently, I guess. I felt that was satisfying enough, and I actually prefer the normal Chris Pratt voice. It wasn't exactly, he obviously was playing a little bit into the voice, but not too far.
And it felt like in moments of exasperation, the accent would
The
come
Italian came out of him
Yeah.
in moments of. Yeah.
So they do something. So Mario starts off in our world, okay? And they do something that I thought they were going to follow through with, and it would have worked really well, where they show Mario being rather competent in a certain area where they need to get to, a job. Though there was a weird thing where they get a job right, and they're already showing Luigi's a bit of a goof and clumsy guy, and then we'll be there, and he hangs up, and they didn't give him the address.
Yeah,
And
I
I was waiting for the punchline where it's like, Mario's like, let's go. Where are we going? Dang it. I was like, but no, they know exactly where to go.
They just go.
And I'm very confused.
It's those little
things, yeah.
conveniences all throughout the film.
It's funny though, because there were parts as well, like for example, in the opening when like Bowser's going to the castle and whatever, and he goes all sinister and stuff. I was waiting for like a very Marvel comedic, like I'm all serious. Actually, no, sorry, I'm a regular guy, Joe, whatever. At least they like kept that villainy. I was scared they were gonna make
him a simp. Because they did that, Nathan.
I know. I was scared that they were going it was going to be too predictable in certain
Well,
areas.
let me also say on the simp note, right? I'm not necessarily against making the villain a simp.
I am.
You are.
I want a proper villain,
Makes
please.
it more pathetic.
Puss in Boots, Death in that, Last Wish.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Perfect villain. Something like that. It's an actual villain who's a villain.
Yeah, but also I feel like you need Jack Black to like He needs more layers. He needs to sing a song
Honestly,
in every movie he's in.
Yes,
You can be a villain and sing a song.
it
You
would
can do that.
have. It would have been better if he had a more nefarious plan to like capture her for ransom to get us hidden treasure that the Mushroom Kingdom has, and that he doesn't know where it is, and so he can't go scorched earth. Something like that would have worked better if they actually had the star instead of him getting the star at the beginning.
Right.
And that could actually be a really good kind of Chekhov's gun on the mantelpiece where they're constantly after this for the payoff when Mario gets it and uses it to save the day, when that was the thing Cooper wanted and he could have used then to conquer the entire world. And you could have even had another thing that there was something greater or stronger than him that he can't overcome without the star. Maybe, I don't know, the Donkey Kong Kingdom or something like that, where those setups would have made more logical sense, and then it would have made him more nefarious and conniving where he's after Peach for ransom. He's gonna, do... but the fact that he just wants to marry her, it can come off weaker.
Yeah.
It's not to say it's not villainous. I think you can have a villainous simp who's trying to force a woman into a relationship against their will. Like, that's an evil,
And
thing.
sacrifice all of her friends as tribute with the marriage. I was pretty dark. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, with the opening...
Tyranth, yeah.
Well, I just mean, like, what's so villainous about dressing up one of your subordinates as Peach and play acting? Like,
This is very true.
like, where's the villainy here? It's just...
It's desperate.
Simp here.
Simpy, yeah. So, going back to the start of the film, they need to get to this new job that they have. The car breaks down, conveniently, and Mario's like, we'll get there anyway. And then you start... I thought this scene was actually excellently done, except for one exception.
Parkour.
They go onto the side view, and it's a replica.
The platforming,
It's a
yeah.
simulation of what it looks like in a platforming game, where Mario is now overcoming obstacles. He's jumping up things, scaffolding and stuff. Luigi can't do it as well, and so Mario's jumping ahead.
At all.
Basically. He's jumping ahead to unlock things, and is showing that he's actually really competent and spry and jumpy.
Was he unlocking them? I thought they were just unlocked, and he was doing all the cool stuff, and then going, "Here's the door."
That's that's the one thing I was saying. What didn't make sense.
Yeah.
He would jump ahead, get to the other side of gates, and then just open the gate. And it was like, why didn't you just open it then? Because it didn't look like it was locked. Why did you go for all this crap to open it from the other side when it really looked like you could just open it?
I mean, energetic people like to do that sort of stuff. Just jump around. make
He's
things
excited.
happen.
He's going to do a plumbing
It was
job.
subverted by just that, huh? And so if they actually made a legitimate obstacle that he needed to get the other side to help Luigi through, it would have made sense. What's frustrating about this, his agility and competence in this realm disappears completely when he meets Peach, where he becomes a bumbling buffoon and he has to work through all these struggles to now get a measure of talent that he was shown at the beginning of the film to have.
Nathan?
And it was... I feel very much purely there to show how great Peach was and to not have Mario show her up.
Well, Tyranth, you looked at me in such a way that...
You're the fanboy, so
Yeah.
I wanna hear what you think.
I mean, my thought is the fact that he's in a whole new world. Like, there was that confidence that he had of, I can do this, and then there's a giant plant that can eat him.
But they show him being able to do some really competent jumpy things at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, but, it was building construction site, it wasn't giant plants eating you and blocks that fall from the sky.
So, Shad, you're good with a sword, right? Yes. If you went to a medieval world, just transported, would you be bad at a sword?
I don't think I would be bad at a sword.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think either. Sorry, Nathan.
I mean, if the sword was bigger and on fire and flames and heavy and... there's a girl in training in this environment for the whole time,
Well, she did it first time. You forgot that.
Yeah.
They justified that she grew up here.
She grew up there. She knew. She probably saw it beforehand. But poor Mario's just like, my brother, he's in prison and I don't know how I can get home, and there's this weird girl that I kind of like, and I don't know.
Does he like her? They have a small little moment where he's like, wow, she's pretty, but then nothing follows up on that at all for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Because a man pursuing a woman's affection because they're attracted to her is problematic in it, so we can't have that.
But I don't feel like Mario ever really gets Peach.
So, if you want to know, guys, why I'm so happy today, it's because this is like a real-life comment section of a fanboy trying to justify everything in real time. Every single problem can be explained away.
Yeah. So there's that, right? They get to a job, doesn't go great. It's the just same comedic thing where something makes it more difficult than what it is.
I found it annoying. The whole how they got into the world was my frustration.
We'll get there.
The lead up to it,
But
I will admit, story-wise, I was just like, oh, okay.
Before we do, he goes home, and it turns out he is a single guy living with his parents. Small thing, but like... I thought it would be an independent, is working, he's got his own business and job.
He has a family. Because his grandpa also lives with his parents,
clearly...
and the uncles. It's a big Italian family.
He's living with them. They're not living with him. He has like just a room.
He's their son. They're still living at home. Have you seen rent recently in New York? It's not cheap.
Just like, I don't know, when there's an opportunity to make the character lesser, and again, this is a small thing, it just seems like another one of those, like, Mario, his basement, you know, not in a basement, he's like living with his parents, he's single. It's like, are they trying to make him look like an incel? I don't know. You know?
No.
Look, that's
still
probably
young.
Look, I agree. That's probably reading too much into it, but his family is like, you're incompetent, you're not achieving much in your life, basically. Your ad
But his
was
mum's
dumb.
happy. His mum's proud of him. That's all that matters.
I don't mind them trying to set up as him being an underdog, okay? If they actually had him properly overcome and achieve, except from... Because, like I said, he's a punching bag, and his theme is that he never gives up. Good theme, okay? But he doesn't necessarily achieve the win from his own, you know, competence. He's brave, which is good, but he would have legitimately died if not for both Peach and Luigi. I think Luigi has the greatest heroic moment in the film, by the way. He overcomes most, which is his own fear, to save his brother's life. And in a way that makes sense, he picks up just one of those
Like sewer
tops
Yeah.
to block the fire.
A manhole cover.
A manhole, yes. Manhole cover. So that, like, again, you'd think there would be good moments for Mario like that. Mario has a good moment when he redirects the bomb, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But going back to that, right? So they're down on their luck, and then there's a big problem where there's a big, you know, pipe leak, and Mario's like, yes, this is our moment to save the day, and they run to say, stop that. I was expecting him actually to do it, like to actually do something to show how great of a plumber he is, and then something happens to take him to another world. He doesn't even he fails at that. and it's through his failure they accidentally find a weird kind of, I don't know.
They find one of the green pipes.
But before that, it's like this chasm, but it's like with scaffolding and pipes and walkways going down to a magical pipe.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't get it. Like, why is it down there? Like, obviously, they've built all these pipes around this pipe. Who built it? You know, why hasn't anybody been down? It's just...
You're asking too many questions, Tyranth, okay?
Yeah,
Pipes
literally.
just appear in the world.
Yeah.
So I've already mentioned, I find the world dumb.
Yeah.
But because it is so dumb, I think it's one of the effective ways to handle it is to not even acknowledge it and just lean into it. And that's what the pipe is. It's there because reasons.
But I mean, is there more than one pipe? How did
good question.
Peach get there? Did she go all the way down to that exact same sewer as a little girl? Like, you see what I'm saying? As soon as you just have logic.
Ooh, the mystery. Ooh.
I mean, that's
The thing is,
my biggest gripe is that I can't tell if Mario's 20 or 45. He's like literally, I have no idea how old he is at all throughout the entire film.
He's however old you want him to be.
And
That's weird, Nathan.
And just to let people know, with how nonsense the world is, I think a competent world builder could explain at least some of it, like the portal, that you could explain an answer where there are connections between worlds. Portals opened up through some magical process that people decided to try and hide or obscure in a pipe. But then something happened that forgot about it, and the door was left open.
You can't have magic and motorbikes and floating platforms and magic leaves and like
Sentient mushrooms.
all in the one world. It doesn't
And
work like that.
rainbow highways.
Yeah.
Rainbow highways.
Yeah, you can't have all these things and be like, well, it's magic, but why do you have cars then? Like,
You can, and the answer is you don't care. They don't care about
Not
it.
everyone has magic.
This is it. This is the world. I know it. Like, I don't like the world. I think it's dumb and nonsense for all the above reasons, but kids don't care about that. And the fact that they just, this is the world, have fun, it's effective. And for that reason, they, you know, and they achieve the nostalgia by just leaning into it because they depict the world, this is the Mario world.
They do.
They do. But I get what you're saying, Tyranth, completely.
So what was your favorite part, Nathan?
Oh, I don't know. I think when they were building the bike or the cars and bikes and whatever, and they're like, it feels like Mario Kart, and then Toad comes up in the big.
Okay, yes.
And then
I'll
they
give
ride
you
down
that.
the road.
That is a good part of the film.
Yes.
That is fun. That is a fun part of the film.
Got good pop music playing, and then they start driving, and yeah, it's all good times.
One thing that I think they actually, instead of just, because I've been giving the world building a pass because it doesn't make sense, they understand it, so they don't bother explaining anything, this is just the way it is. To me, that's not a compliment or a criticism, but it is a kind of compliment in the sense that they're just achieving the world. This is the world, and in that sense, there is one thing that they do well with the world, and that is the rules of the power-ups. The rules of the power-ups, they are established by showing how they work, and they're consistent throughout, mostly, though there is a big contradiction in one of the executions of the power-ups, is that
I'm curious how.
the rule is the power-ups come from these boxes, you get the thing, you get powered up, and if you get a hard enough hit, the power's gone. That's the rule. They're consistent with it.
Just like
and then
in the
they're
game.
consistent with what does what. This one shrinks you. This one makes you stronger. This one makes you a cat. They don't explain why or how or what. It's nonsense. But they're consistent with it, which is important because they do use like, oh, we're going to use this to get this specific effect. Like they shrink Bowser at the end to trap him. The contradiction, which annoys me, is that they also establish the way to break the power-up effect. Get a hard enough hit. And so if they're keeping Bowser imprisoned by the effect of the shrinking one, Bowser, just run into a wall hard enough and you'll be back to normal.
No, I'm pretty sure you have to be hit by an enemy, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any times that where Mario got hit and it wasn't from an enemy.
He got thrown into a wall and he lost the power.
But was that a hit
But that
by
was
Donkey Kong?
But that was a.
Well,
Is that like a? Is there a clause for power? It's
I'm
like
being
you have to
technical
be
here.
therefore hit.
If it's only from, a strike from an enemy, he would have lost the power up when he got hit by Donkey Kong, not when he got thrown into the wall. He specifically lost the power up when he crashed into the wall.
But is it by the
Ergo,
thrusting?
Something facto dictorium. The resultant clear logical answer is it is any hard hit.
No, because he's running through walls at points. When he's doing the training course, he's smashing through walls.
Oh, but did he have a different power up? No,
But
I
he
thought
was
it
smashing though, wasn't being hit
yes,
by them. He
clearly
was
when
breaking
he's
through them.
smashing versus taking damage when you hit a wall.
Okay, what about when he was with the big mushrooms and he was getting hit by the giant mushrooms when he was
They're
flying through
clearly
them?
too soft. See, look at the infallible logic.
Okay, so Shad's the fanboy now. Right?
I'm just giving you the arguments of what people invested in this world would. But no, I feel that is a contrary. Because then they start to rely on that mechanic, and then there is the question. All right, if you're going to establish rules, consistency, then there's going to be plot holes if you contradict how those rules work, and there's a contradiction. It's like, Bowser, just hit yourself hard enough.
Well, if I think about it, really, when Donkey Kong hits him, that's really, really fast, less than like a second.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably takes like a second or two for it to actually come off. And he hit the wall by the time the power up.
This is true.
Who's the fanboy now?
I mean, if you want to go real technical with it, let's do it.
Let's dance.
Okay, so yeah, the portal into another world, it's there because he appears in the other world. Luigi, for reasons, gets sucked out of their portal thing and goes into another portal, which doesn't take him to another world, just another part in the world. So logic would dictate all the paths that they see only take him to the Mario world, but at different locations.
Yes.
Just being logical. They get separated. Mario needs to find his brother. He runs into Toad. Toad's a lot of fun. He's like, you need to meet the princess. She'll help you because your brother's obviously in the Koopa world because he got sucked into a volcano.
Why I'm going to help this random person I ran across? I don't know. But hey,
He's
let's
just
do it.
adventurous Toad. Like he's just
and
like
adventurous.
Hey, princess, I'm going to save you because it's just like great, cool.
That's what I'm saying. The entire film is just like, we're going to do this because we're going to do this.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
It's like a world full of NPCs. You're just running into them in the world.
Well, they
and then
are
they do
NPCs.
yes, and then they just do things with you. Like, I need help getting a chicken from across the road. Well, let's go. It's like that type of thing. Just, you need help.
So there is visual world building. When Mario drives in the city, he discovers there are floating platforms, because there just are, and that there are pipe teleportation tubes. They're not exactly teleportation, they're transit tubes, really, because you have to transit the actual pipe.
Except when they need to be teleportation ones. Then they're teleportation ones.
When are they teleportation ones?
Well, when they, at the end, when they go from their little apartment into the tube, and it's a teleportation one.
Is it?
Well, yeah, it made the same teleportation sounds as the other ones.
But I thought they just made a new apartment in the world that looked the same.
Yeah, they did. And
Yeah.
then they went outside that, and then they jumped into a tube, and that was the end of the film.
Okay. But we didn't see where they went. They could have transit somewhere.
Yeah, but it made the teleportation sounds and the blue little teleportation little thingies.
Do they dematerialize?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
The film ended.
So, I guess the mushroom people like transit pipes to get from point A to point B, and they make them because that's what they do. We are introduced to the Queen. Bowser is about to invade. She's going to go get help from the Donkey Kong people. And as she is about to go help, she runs into Mario, who is sneaking in, run into guards, and now is trying to escape the guards. And she is intrigued because he's a human. No more is really said. There's a small conversation later on. It's like, how'd you get here? I don't know. First memory here. They made me the princess. That's it. I'm like, wondering who her parents are. Anyway, so many questions. But okay, fine. Conversation basically along the lines of, my brother's at Bowser. I'm gonna. I can't remember exactly. Like, get Donkey Kong people to help. That'll help free my brother. I'll help you. You're not strong enough. I will help anyway. You need to prove yourself. Okay, show me. Is that basically it?
Well, yeah, he wants to save his brother, and then she's like, well, they're going to invade us. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to help you defeat him to save my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario, have you tried to defeat an invading army before? I don't know. Sure, okay. You know, he's confident.
Brotherly love. Okay, it makes you do crazy things.
He's a plumber from Brooklyn. He's got this.
But hey, like, he's confident, determined. He's going to do anything to save his brother. Good on him. Okay. She takes him to floating blocks now, and it's, to me, similar level of difficulty that they showed Mario being able to just nail before. Peach goes in, nails it like a boss, complete master. Has Peach, she's not necessarily a playable character except in Mario Kart, isn't she?
Well, in other games. She has her own game as well.
She has her own game?
Yeah.
And is she doing that?
Yeah, she's a boss.
Okay, she's a boss in the game as well. Okay.
It's her game.
But not originally, she was a damsel in distress recently.
Or sometimes she'll even in the game. Sometimes they're just like, your princess is in a castle.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she can
But
show
anyway,
much.
nails it like a boss. Mario does it, fails completely, like again and again. All the talent he had is now disappeared because they want to be very clear about who's good and who's not competent in the scene. But he eventually figures it out. She's surprised. He doesn't win. He still fails at the very end, but he's good enough to come along. And then there's the scene where it's like, don't worry, I failed a lot at this first time too. You got it the first time, didn't you? Yeah, I got it the first time. But I grew up here, so it makes sense.
Exactly. At least they're trying to excuse it a little bit. Where, like, you know, other shows, they don't.
So then they gonna go get the Donkey Kong people. Princess, I was like, protection, royal guard. No, okay. This is one of the like small things where you think like, would she go alone?
I mean, did you see how effective they were when Mario got in? Like, he just ran and they're all like stacks on. They're little cute mushroom people. When they're going to invade, they're like, we're too cute. Like,
Look,
how can we defend
I do
ourselves?
like that they kind of acknowledge that Toad is very odd one out. It's like, what? You're willing to go on an adventure with us and you're brave? And they're kind of saying that this is not the normal characteristics of the Toad people.
Yeah.
And he's unique in that sense. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess the other Toad people are just all cowardly, useless, scaredy cats who won't do anything to save their lives.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Okay. And there's a bit of a travel montage thing. They're going through the world. They find different things to.
Saw Yoshi's.
They saw
Yoshi is just a
Yeah, that was a little. Oh, I actually thought something was going to happen. I thought they were going to bring something.
you guys didn't know this, but actually we didn't stay to the very, very end. At the very, very end, there's a green egg in like Brooklyn that hatches, and then you get a little Russell.
Okay, so, I'm happy we didn't stay for that because that's a waste of time.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming the next movie is going to have more Yoshis in it.
Very likely. And so they're camping out, and they actually show the fire flower at this is the first point. I thought that would have been more, holy crap, you can shoot fireballs, but Mario doesn't comment on it. She's just like, power up fireballs.
It's always been my favorite power up. I wanted to see Mario with,
I thought that would have been one of the big powers that he uses.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up again, does it?
He goes to use it, then gets blown out by Donkey Kong.
That's right. That's not like we see a blue flower that Peach uses to be girl boss, and you ain't marrying me. I don't need saving. So she gets a flower type power, but not Mario. He doesn't get the flower power. And it's just, and I thought they would be rare. There's like a massive field of these flowers everywhere. I'm like, okay, so everyone could just get fireball power whenever they want. Kind of would be useful for the Mushroom Kingdom to defeat Bowser if it's so readily available and there's like hundreds everywhere and they have an entire population that can get powers, superpowers.
So is Mario a furry now?
Yeah. We see him as a cat, we see him as a raccoon.
Yeah.
But he's always been a raccoon.
He's always been. This isn't new.
Yeah.
Okay, I volunteer to lower my score lower. Now we're at a 4.
3, 2, 1.
Furries appear, instant downgrade.
Yeah. That's not even a joke. I just thought about that. That's the dots connected in my head.
If I'm
At
being,
least he still
if I'm
has
being
his
generous,
face.
he's not really a furry. He's wearing a furry. Oh, wait, he's wearing an animal. He's a furry. Okay, so, yeah, there's superpowers readily available everywhere that might be somewhat helpful in defeating an invading army. Okay, they ignore that, and they keep moving. They get to the Donkey Kong Kingdom, and the Donkey Kongs, the monkey people, they like vehicles. That's the Mushroom Kingdom was pipes, Donkey Kong Kingdom, vehicles. Vehicles everywhere.
And throwing barrels.
And throwing barrels.
Bananas.
And bananas.
Yeah.
Almost like it's from the game. Almost.
And then
Yes.
tracks that go through their houses.
Yes. And they get taken on a vehicle to meet the King Kong. And he will not give them aid unless they fight his son.
Yeah.
And Mario's like, I'll fight him. And he's like, yeah, sure, done. And Peach is like, no, don't do that. And you'd think, like, Peach, you know who's, like, way better at combat and fighting people than Mario, it would be you. And, like, if you're going to risk the fate of your kingdom in defeating King Kong, or Donkey Kong, sorry, it just doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be the one to do it. Like, wouldn't you be more afraid of Mario? So this is where the contradictions in the plot come up, where they show his talent here. This film would have worked so much better and actually have legitimate investment if they made Peach more helpless, honestly. Where she is in a position where she needs assistance, okay? Mario comes in, they've already shown that he's competent in jumping and everything like that, where she, like, you know, when she first meets him, she's like, look, I have no other choice, I've got to try and get help. And it's like, why do you need help? Bad thing happening. And it's like, well, to save my brother, I'll help you. But how are you going to do that? And he's like, I'll do it. I can't risk your life. You need to show me. And then she's like, no one's ever passed this, you know. And if they show it that this is difficult, and then Mario nails it because of his natural ability, and then he gets the power-ups on top, she's like, you could actually save us, Mario. We need your help. See how it's building his character now? Okay? And she can still have, like, girl boss moments in the sense that she knows the power-ups and he doesn't. And so there'll be moments where she could get a power-up, show him how to use the power-ups, and suddenly his success is reliant on her knowledge, and then they're building each other. And then when she legitimately gets captured by Koopa, she needs to be saved. And Mario is the hero that comes in and saves. Can you already sense how more kind of fulfilling and engaging this would be? because she's the girl boss and she didn't need to be saved, and so that robs the stakes when Mario's coming in to save us. Like, what are you gonna do? Who cares? You're not needed, Mario. There's a girl boss who can do it all. And so it's very simple storytelling like this that is so offensive in the modern day that, for me, it destroys investment, and because you do need stakes, you do need something to engage you, and it's not there in this film as a result.
I don't think you're the target audience, Shad. You're asking too many questions. I think Nathan's their target audience.
Kids are the target audience, and guess what? Kids will respond. They naturally, subconsciously respond to these tropes. Boys love to be the heroes, okay? They love to save the damsels in distress. And girls, guess what? They also love to be saved, all right? This is true, okay? And it's not offensive to depict a princess needing to be saved, especially when they can show her doing key things to help the hero save the day, which Peach easily could have done with her knowledge of the world, all right? My daughter would have loved this film just as much with that, but my boys would probably get more out of it and then get a greater rise because there's a greater heroic payoff in it, which this film doesn't have, because you can't have a man save a woman now. It annoys me. So anyway, back to the Donkey Kong thing. It doesn't make sense that Peach is the one who risks the fate of her kingdom on Mario, who already showed that he can't even complete the maze. Mario goes to fight Donkey Kong, gets the absolute snot beaten out of him repeatedly until he gets the right power up, and then he just owns because he's got superpowers. By
turning into a furry.
By turning into a furry, yes. He also uses the wrong powers and he gets in a more desperate situation, and him finally getting the right power up seemed like just luck. He didn't do much apart from, look, he didn't give up. Good on him. But he didn't know what was in the thing. If you got the wrong power, you would have lost. He didn't really do anything from his own creativity to beat, Donkey Kong, apart from, lucky I got the right superpower. So you don't get too much of a rise out of that fight scene. It's just like, okay, that's it. Now the Donkey Kongs are going to help Mario, but they need to beat Bowser back or something, and there's a secret path.
The Rainbow Road.
There's a rainbow bridge that takes them there. But to do that, they need the vehicles. Good thing the monkeys make the vehicles. They make vehicles. It's fun vehicles. They get the vehicles. They drive off. Bowser, he constantly gets reports of what's happening amongst the heroes.
There has to be a traitor amongst them.
But they don't explain it. Nothing is mentioned. He just knows. Someone reports, Peach is being helped by a mustachioed man. They are now on the secret path back. And, okay, because plot reasons,
What were you going to say?
I have headcanon now. My headcanon's that Toad. Toad is the secret spy. That should have been. There would be a great plot twist at the end. And Toad's like, actually, it was me who told Bowser everything.
So I like Toad. He's the only really good character in the film for me. Don't ruin Toad by making him evil.
That's a little bit
But
funny.
they could have actually had just a spy that was easily revealed at the end.
Yeah. Maybe if we go back and watch the movie again.
No,
just me. Okay. Maybe we'll see little Goombas or something
Make it
around.
Diddy Kong. Who likes Diddy Kong? Nathan likes Diddy Kong. But
Diddy Kong Country. It was a good game.
They even get reports of when they're traveling and there's no one. I don't know. Anyway, so because Bowser knows that they're on the secret road, he sends his own. He has vehicles now as well, by the way, because big vehicles, and they attack him on the road. For people who love Mario Kart, I guess they'll just love. It's the Mario Kart scene.
It was a good scene. It was fun.
It was a good scene. It was fun. It was. Didn't make sense, just like the rest of it.
Nothing made sense,
but it was still. I'm not going to begrudge you for liking it.
You don't play Mario for it to make sense.
They have a hover ability? Is that in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can go on water. They can float like when the original guy was driving it, and then the little glider thing came at the back. That's all game stuff.
I personally prefer Sonic All-Star, over Mario Kart. Yeah.
Ooh.
I said what I said.
This is a different discussion altogether. I would prefer a Sonic game over a Mario game, but Sonic All-Stars over Mario Kart?
What's the newer one as well? The one that came out recently. The Sonic one, the racing one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know because I don't care.
I said
Mario Kart all the way.
Nintendo.
Okay, sorry.
I ain't about
Sega
that.
has a cool
Steam
intro.
Deck, Steam,
Oh,
bro.
okay,
Steam.
okay. We're getting off topic now. Different debate here.
You Nintendo fanboys. Jeez, can't stand you.
You got a Switch too.
Yeah,
What do you want about?
Yeah,
We're just gonna keep going.
Nathan,
we have to move it. So Mario kind of gets lost with Donkey Kong. In actual fact, I didn't mind the interactions between Mario and Donkey Kong. They don't like each other, but they ended up helping out each other to build a kind of camaraderie in the exchanges. So that wasn't awful.
I just don't like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, when I realized it was him, I was like, oh, really? It's this guy?
Yeah. Look, if we put everything Seth Rogen aside,
Nah.
I think he matches Donkey Kong, but especially when Donkey Kong goes, it does ruin it a bit. He does his, usual Seth Rogen laugh.
And look, one of the better comedic lines was when he's like, "You saved me," and then Mario replies, "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone." And he instantly says, "Yes, please don't." It's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. It's not a bad line. I'll give it to her. They get free because they didn't realize that there was an explosive barrel in with them because they get eaten by a big fish, and then they use that.
There's always a bigger fish. Yes. Sorry, continue.
I thought they would they exploded in the fish to get free, but no, they're riding on it to get to where they need to go, and so it didn't explode in the fish.
So
it was just
it's
the
a
exhaust.
rocket and or a bomb.
Or
Because it is.
Because the previous one was a missile that
Yes.
would
Yes.
explode. And there was an explosion to get them free, but then the barrel isn't exploded when they are free.
Again, too many questions.
Too many questions. I mean, Donkey Kong Country, it's canon. It's canon.
Okay, so Peach, when Mario is lost, she gets back and, is like, Bowser's on his way, everyone flee. And then she gets a halberd and tries to stand off just her, because, and Bowser proposes to her. She says no. He tortures Toad. She says, and then I'll marry you to save my friend.
Yep.
I
I mean, this is Nintendo writing right here, through and through.
And he's like, okay, I don't care, but we'll see what happens. Mario. So then the build-up now is that Peach is going to have to marry Bowser against her will. Okay, that's the supposed stake that we should be invested in, and there are people that Bowser is going to murder as a wedding present, Luigi included, and as well as the people that he captured. So the Donkey Kong King person is there now. What do you think about the nihilistic star creature?
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny.
It was pretty funny.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
At the end, it was a little weird.
Yeah, it was.
Like, it's all right throughout the film, but it's kind of weird to have a film end and be like, oh, now you're all depressed. Go back to your... Like, I was like... I mean...
Maybe
okay.
that's the point of the character. Is
Yeah, but it's
Like the downer.
But when it's not in the film and in the context of the
Yeah.
film and they're like telling you
Then
at the screen, you're like...
It addresses the fourth wall.
Yeah,
It's
you're like... Okay.
Your lives suck. It's effectively what it's saying. Okay, so then there's the build-up to the wedding where Toad conveniently gives her a bouquet. Oh, it's the right bouquet. She about to forced to marry him against her will. She does see everyone about to be murdered in front of her. And so she's like, I'll never marry you. She gets the superpower and basically starts beating everyone. And this is before Mario arrives. There isn't like a big, suspense moment where the person's reading the vows and it's getting to the will she say yes or no, and Mario comes in just before to prevent it and save her. She just gets the superpowers and starts icing everyone.
So what do you think of this bit, Nathan? Because she's fighting off all of the... I'm not going to call them bosses, but like lots of a diverse representation of all the villain characters.
Yes.
All at the same time.
Yes.
What do you think, Nathan?
Look, if you're a good player, you should be able to do this stuff. Like, I'm just telling you. If
we
you're
know-
a speedrunner, you know all the hacks. And like,
Well,
yeah.
and Peach is a great player. In fact, she's the bestest player
She's the best
ever.
player. So, if she was a damsel and all of a sudden bet all the bosses, then I'd be a bit more suspicious. But the fact that she's so good at everything, of course she could beat them all.
Of course she could, yes. And it makes you very uninvested in the stakes because...
What did you rate it again? In a number? What was the number you gave it?
Oh, it was very high. Like
Yeah, you didn't-
eight or
you didn't
9
say
or
a
10.
number.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I just said if you like Mario, you will like this movie.
Yeah, so what's the number you gave it
I
exactly?
don't give
Nathan?
it a number because, like,
Oh, we
I'll give it a 9. Okay, I'll give it a 9. Okay.
There you go, guys.
Hey, no, he's allowed to absolutely like the film. There's nothing, and I'm glad if people enjoy it.
Don't you like the first Dungeons and Dragons movie? Huh?
Yeah,
We
you
should
do.
go review that one, okay?
Whoa, guys, all right.
Don't you like the prequels?
Look-
people had something about the prequels.
You better be goddamn careful when you say some shit there.
I know your weakness.
Whoa.
The tables have turned.
Here's the thing with knowing your friends. I know your weaknesses too.
It's just where to poke that knife. So yeah, like as soon as she starts winning it, beating everyone, it's just like, of course, Mario, what are you? And then she sets a bomb person on fire. Poor bomb person. I didn't know if he was good or bad.
He's
if he was
bad.
forced into
He's
the
bad.
He's bad.
He was forced into the. Cooper's forcing everyone into the wedding.
He's bad, Shad. He's bad.
Giant bomb.
They are villains.
I think.
I mean, what an existence your life is meant to be used to explode. How would
At
that
the
make
end,
you
you
feel
die?
as a being of self-aware intelligence? Your purpose is to die and kill others.
Okay,
with it.
again, with thinking too much into this Mario universe, but like the giant rocket that comes out afterwards when Bowser's like blow up the castle, it's like it is going to die. Like once it
Yes.
hits the castle, it dies.
But it could be that's their purpose. It's like, that's how they get off. It's like, yes, I get to die. I'm going to get to die. Yes.
That's how you have satisfaction in
They
your life.
really
Yeah.
get it. And so then why was he so worried that it was going to explode? He should have been, yes, finally, I get to fulfill my purpose. The
Maybe
bomb-
because it was
the
a
bomb
friend's
man.
wedding. I don't know.
Maybe he was like, maybe he didn't want to ruin the wedding.
Well, he did have a crown, and he was old,
Yeah.
so maybe
Like,
he didn't want to.
Maybe he was depressed. He lived a long life without being able to fulfill his purpose of blowing up.
because he looked very surprised when he was about to die.
He didn't want to do
Peach
it.
basically murdered him.
I know. It felt like murder. He was reluctant. He didn't want that to happen.
Is that a fair characterization?
It's very fair, yeah.
So the ice that she shoots on the chain that's preventing Luigi and everyone going into the burning lava breaks and they start to lower again. And the hero moment the film wants you to have is that Donkey Kong and Mario just come in the nick of time to save Luigi. First, Donkey Kong prevents the
Chain.
the
Chain
chain,
from falling, yeah.
and then Luigi tries to climb up. Something happens, Luigi ends up falling anyway, and Mario comes and catches him because he's got the flying raccoon thing. And that's the hero moment, him saving his brother. He could have saved Peach as well, but Peach, she doesn't need saving. And then Bowser is upset, is like, fine, I'm just going to destroy you all, launch the big bomb thing. And it seems like a bomb that has sentience that can choose to like...
Redirect and stuff,
Yeah, just
yeah.
redirect. Is a little inefficient for the purposes of a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like everything in this world is like sentient.
But can you do that in the game? Because I've seen those like bomb, and there's smaller ones. They show the smaller ones in the movie. But in the game, can you get those ones to chase you?
Or
You'd have to jump him, don't you?
But that just knocks them down.
So here's the thing, right? Some games are 2D and like side scroller platformer. Those ones you just jump on. 3D ones do follow you. Yes.
Oh, they do follow you.
Yes. Some are known to follow you in the later
Okay,
games.
man, I was ready to just go ballistic. It's like, fine, don't be true to the law. Just tell you the story. But good thing we have a law master here, and so they can chase you. Okay, because
Now, can you hit them in the eye, then they're mad at you? I don't know about that one, but
look at that! Doesn't even follow the cat into the game. It can't be true. They're just doing it to achieve the purpose of the story. It's lazy freaking writers.
You got it out.
Oh, I got more. So the bomb's going down, and this is the most heroic moment for Mario, and it's not at the actual climax, right? For me, the climax was a big letdown because it's Peach that saves everyone. But Mario, I don't know, he's figured out that I guess he can get the bomb to chase him because it's sentient. And it's like he'll whack it in its eye. First, he tries to stop it, doesn't work. I'm confused because like the trigger mechanisms for bombs would be the tip, right? And Mario pushes on the tip, and it doesn't. It's like
Again.
it's sentient.
it knows
Too many
when-
questions.
No,
Too many questions.
It's like, I'm not blowing up yet.
But why does it choose to blow up? Like you'd think if it's sentient, it's like, well, now I'm in a void of nothingness. Why did it choose to blow up then? It didn't run into anything. It just chose. So because Mario gets it, he pokes it in the eye.
I'm also. I don't understand
Is it
how
not a timer?
how a big bomb fits into a little tiny hole and
Yeah.
goes all the way through.
Yes, you'd think that's when it would have exploded.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
I have other questions about that too, because then everyone else gets sucked in and then goes to Brooklyn, but then there's an explosion in between that. But then
Oh,
nothing-
by the way, Mario's actions here would have ended up murdering hundreds of thousands of people in Brooklyn. Because Bowser's floating island literally crashes onto multiple buildings. So Mario's actions here does lead to the deaths of thousands upon thousands of people. But don't think about that, okay?
Oh, this is not a movie that we should
Sorry for ruining the movie.
What is it? It's a 9, Nathan. You said it's
It is a 9!
He's allowed to like it. I'm glad he likes it. It doesn't mean we're not going to poke holes all throughout this. Because this thing, right? People might say, well, you're just being unfair. You're looking for poking holes everywhere. How to Train Your Dragon. Okay?
Megamind.
Those films legitimately hold up to this level of scrutiny. And even though you can find one or two things, for the most part, you end up finding things that actually work even better. You find subtext that holds up the film and makes the payoffs even better, okay? And so I'm actually applying the same standard and critical level that I want to apply to everything. And when you find it something that's written legitimately well, it ends up making it better because you see how well written and how strong that film is. When it's something like Mario, as I hope you're probably realizing, the story is crap. Okay, like in terms of what's investing you, because to get a satisfying payoff, there needs to be a level of sense to it to make you go, you deserve that payoff. You achieved something. But if there's no proper structure to justify it, or if it's done in a way that doesn't complement the hero, doesn't make them feel that they achieved something, you get nothing out of it. Okay, and so this moment here is arbitrary. But we don't know the mechanics of this bomb. It just decides to chase Mario because it does. Mario decides, I know good reason. Here is the portal that I came out of that took me to this world. Therefore, you should understand this is probably the portal.
Take you back.
But hang on, Mario. You don't know if the bomb will explode in transit. More likely, the bomb is going to explode in New York after it teleports there and hits something. So his logic is to destroy New York. But that's what he goes with. It blows up in the portal thing because that's what the film wants. I don't know what's on a timer. It doesn't blow up when it hits. I don't know. But it blows up in the vortex, which sucks everyone into the vortex, including Bowser's floating island.
All through a tiny little hole. Like a tiny little...
The bomb, yeah. Like you actually see that this giant bomb hit the pipe. And so I guess this is just law. It doesn't matter the size. You push something on the pipe hard enough, it'll get sucked in.
It'll get through.
Yeah. That's how they work. And if they contradict that rule that they established in their magic systems of the world, I'll be freaking pissed off because you don't contradict your own rules of your own universe. So, anything can portal through, but when it explodes, it creates a vortex that sucks everyone in, including Bowser's floating island, and Bowser's floating island crashes into New York, wiping out Brooklyn, wiping out thousands of people.
Probably.
It's wow.
But I mean, we don't see it.
You don't see people. You don't see the death. You see buildings get destroyed.
But if we don't see it, it didn't happen.
It is perfectly reasonable to assume that there were people in those buildings because the film established is that people are in buildings in this universe. Even in the universe of Brooklyn, Mario lives in a building. Ergo, there's other people who live in buildings.
Right. Well, I left my reason at the door when we started watching the film, so I don't think anybody died because they didn't.
See,
because I didn't see it.
I find that as an insult. If a movie expects you to abandon reason to be able to enjoy it, that is an insult to you. They are relying on stupidity for people to enjoy the film.
So it's a 9.
Sorry, Nathan.
It's a 9.
No. Sorry. Like, I'm being purposely facetious here. Okay, but I think there's a vein of truth. What I'm saying is like. You can enjoy the film, but if you want to try and say it's a good film, well, then this is a different argument. You can say it's enjoyable, it's fun, and I think for kids it will be fun. But to say it's good, okay, let's have a discussion here because there's a lot of stupid in this film. And it's a kids. How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, so they're in Brooklyn. Mario runs into the bully that was bullying him, and Bowser's there. Bowser starts to beat people up. Mario tries to fight him, but then gets the snot beat out of him, and he gets knocked into the diner he was in where he saw the trailer.
And then his ad plays.
His
own ad gives him courage. I love that.
Very convenient that was
I love
the time when the ad comes
It's
on.
like, you know those motivational things? Like, make your own motivational thing. You are a king.
Yeah.
You deserve that. Just play it in the morning. Give yourself confidence. That's basically what it was. His own ad gave himself confidence. I don't know how I feel about that.
But hey, you look at yourself in the mirror sometimes. It's like,
No, I do not.
You can do this. You could do. I've never done it, but you can
Exactly.
do this. People do it, I assume.
I hope people don't do that.
People do.
Do you do it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So Mario, he's not going to give up. And, I mean, Peach says previously in the film, like, you just don't give up, do you? And he's like, yeah, that's me. So there was already a seed of that line. And then Bowser says, you just don't know when to give up. Tail ending that, okay, that's good. That's a good tail end of little, comments about characterization. Mario's like, yeah, I get that a lot. But what is his plan right now?
To not give up.
To not give up.
I can do this all day.
Because there's another philosophy that people should be aware of. It's like, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. Meaning, if you don't change the plans, you'll achieve the same results. You'll just spin your wheels and get nowhere. Okay? And so you should change out your plan, find something different, figure out a way to achieve. Mario is just there. It's like, I'm not giving up. And hopefully things will work out.
Well, there's a star just over
Well. Luckily for them.
No, Shad, this is good writing, because at the start of the film, we saw it, and then we saw it once more throughout the film, and then we see it at the end of the film. So this is tail-ending this whole thing. This is perfect writing. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because the portaling of the island and the way it crashes would release the most treasured item Bowser has right at the correct moment to be right near Peach.
That's exactly how that works.
Yeah, that's exactly just what reality would most likely result in. And because the star is there, Peach kicks the star to Mario. Now, it's not close enough, but it doesn't reach him, but it's just close enough. Mario's going to have to now get to before I was out of it. But so Mario would have died. Like, he was walking, it was suicide. He was just deciding to not give up and die in front of Bowser because reasons. And if it wasn't for Peach, he would have died. Now, I don't know if he could have nodded to Peach or something like that, because I'm not necessarily against people kind of, helping each other out to achieve and stuff. Yet, if you want to look at classic heroic stories and everything, you would have the hero save the girl. That's just more classic storytelling.
We had Luigi save Mario. And Mario saved Luigi all throughout their lives.
Yes.
And now Luigi has
I
saved
liked the moment when Luigi saved Mario. It still shows that Mario would have died. He had no plan at all. It shows that he's a bit of a moron to do what he did. Because after Peach, so lucky that star is there. Sorry, I mean, it makes sense the star's there. What am I saying? The star is just because it would be there, right? Peach kicks it to them. Mario tries to reach it. Bowser's no. Bowser launches his deadly, deadly fire breath.
Do turtles breathe fire?
This one does.
This one does.
Again, I was asking too many questions.
Yeah, psychics have magic?
No, because there's no such thing. Anyway, Shad, continue.
Fire breath. Mario's about to die, and then Luigi comes and picks up a manhole cover and blocks it like a boss. Best character moment in the film by far. Luigi was, and you actually see him cowering in a dumpster when Mario's getting the crap kicked out of him. I don't know why he didn't help then, but I guess, brother could have died then. But now his brother might die, and that's the thing that causes him to overcome his fear, because that's his brother. And so he blocks it. And then they decide to... I'm a little confused about the physics here. Because they showed the fire moves faster than they can run, because he was running away and it was approaching him. Luigi comes, blocks it. They're going to drop the thing that's protecting them from getting the thing, outrun the fire now because they can. And just as they touch the magic star, the fire then passes them. I mean, it would have made sense if they moved back with it. And maybe it's overcoming Luigi and it's about to go. And then if Mario came and braced it together, they hold it back. And then they step back together using a logical process against physics here to reach the star. But no, they just outrun it because reasons. And the star, I don't know. Mario, he doesn't know what the star does he? Like, at no point did anyone explain the star to him.
No.
So for all he knows, this could make him fart rainbows.
Yeah.
I mean, the results are pretty random based on what you grab. Like, it's a blue mushroom shriek. Okay, but yes.
But we know what it does.
We know what it does. What does it do, Nathan?
Makes you invincible.
It does it? It's an invincibility
Yeah.
star. Okay. So both Mario and Luigi grab it. And
Why was there only one? I'm curious why there's only one.
Only one star.
there's so many flowers, like fireball flowers.
Because it's like God mode.
Yeah,
in
that's why there's
the
less.
game,
Yeah.
in the game though, are the stars less rare, more rare than the
They're
fireball?
like the most rare
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's not one. There's not
Oh,
just
there's
one.
more in the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, Nathan. Why is there only one?
One. Maybe there is not. Maybe this is the only one
So
Bowser
why
knows.
So why did Bowser only get one?
My question is...
If he really wanted,
My question
if he really
is-
wanted to get the girl, why didn't he have a whole bunch of stars?
My question is, how did two people touch one item and both be affected by it?
That's a good question, Nathan.
That
Can
doesn't
you
make
do that?
sense.
Can you do that in the game?
No.
Friggin'
Once you collect an
bloody
item,
Nathan!
the person who collected it got it. And does that mean if both Bowser and Mario ran and touched the star at the same time, they'd both be invincible?
I mean,
And they'd have
that's. I'm just saying, this better be a mechanic in the game. If you're doing multiplayer and you get to an item exactly at the same time, you both better get the power up. Like Mario Kart, when you got the thing.
No. It's not canon.
I'm heartbroken.
So it's a 9, Nathan.
Maybe an 8 for that. Like 8.5.
just so heartbroken. Okay,
But then
so,
the music plays and it's really cool.
so this is the thing, right? If Mario did something clever to get the star, okay, that Chekhov's gun, established star, something, it's there, it's hit, or something like that, and Mario fools Bowser, maybe subverts him, thinks Bowser's winning, or something like that, and then makes Bowser do something that is the very action that enables Mario to get the star, or does something clever, right? To distract Bowser so Peach could get the star, okay? Because Mario did nothing for, there's so many ways, right?
I'm sorry, but if Peach got the star, you
No,
would be on a
sorry.
ra-
That's true. Like, Peach was right there. Why didn't she just grab the star? She kicked it. She was able to touch it.
Because Mario
Oh,
was
wait.
the
Did
hero.
she
was
pick
being-
something up and throw it at the
She
start?
kicked one of the shells.
Okay, so she wasn't close enough to touch it. Because, holy crap, the person you want to have the star is Peach, because she's just white. You think Mario's good with the star? Imagine Peach with the star. She's the true hero of this movie. And so there was nothing satisfying, really, to make it feel like he achieved something when he grabbed the star. He just did it because of reasons he was going to. But now that he has the power, big fun music plays. Kids will still get a kick out of this scene where they start to just wreck everything because superpowers.
So Mario saves Brooklyn from a mess of his own making.
Yeah. Yeah, Mario and Luigi, everyone sees it. They're happy heroes. They don't address that thousands of people would have died.
Well, that didn't happen, but I'm guessing if you are a Brooklyn Italian plumber, this movie, you're going to love it. This is going to be like...
It's a power fantasy right here.
Yeah, it's made for you.
I mean, Hollywood keeps telling me that I need to see myself to really identify with the heroes. Is it because I don't have a moustache? I can't, like, if I block everything out, does it count?
Can you see Shad with just moustache?
But I'm not short either. I'm just saying, like, if Mario was a bearded, spectacled Australian medieval enthusiast, I think I could identify more with the character and see myself, to feel like I could take on an evil turtle and get away with murdering lots of people and saving them from a problem of my own making. I could feel like I could identify with that more.
Maybe.
So, Nathan, what's your final rating on this? We got furry Mario. We've got, them both having the power at the end. I just want to get your fanboy perspective on your final rating.
I
Final
will
rating.
give it an 8. Because there are story things which, like Shad said, if they changed things around, made the plot a bit more, build up to more things, would be more enjoyable. However, I just think the adaptation was done so well. The music was so good. The characters were so on point. I will forgive any story atrocities, okay, for the sake that they did it. They made a movie that I could watch and not just cringe through the whole thing. They did it.
I get your perspective. I'm a little like that, but I acknowledge it though, with Alita Battle Angel. I get so annoyed with the Mary Sue GIRLBOSS crap, right? Alita Battle Angel is a perfect, more recent example of a kick-butt action female character who is still... She's feminine, she has flaws, she fails, she overcomes, she's heroic, and I enjoyed her character so much that there are a lot of flaws with that film that those flaws I barely notice because I can just enjoy her character, and I love the film as a result. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think for me especially, because for me games are so much closer to home, the fact that like Hollywood always disrespects them so much, and like all modern media, they're playing games, one person's got the control, they're like, whoa, playing some games, and you know, it's all never taken seriously, where I feel like this was actually the people who made it cared about the material, they had Nintendo overseeing it, which actually, there were parts in this movie, I feel like they cut things out. Because sometimes scenes end very abruptly, and then go to this other thing, like we're missing something.
Like, example, which one?
There's just parts where like they're screaming and falling, and then there's like darkness for 2 seconds, and then it opens to a brand new different scene. Like obviously it's changing scenes, but I feel like there's stuff that they've taken out that because Nintendo, the fact this was made is incredible, because I feel like that company is impossible to work with. So I'm just like, we did it. We made a movie that was okay.
I am confused because they show an old school Super Nintendo when Mario goes into his room, and
it's
he
just
plays.
Easter egg stuff.
But that means Nintendo exists within this Nintendo universe.
It's like Pokemon. They always have like the latest
the
console.
flagship character is Mario.
Yeah.
How can they have a Nintendo in the world without Mario? That means
Maybe.
This is a version of Nintendo when Mario is not in existence in Nintendo.
All of these factors in the story, now someone's going to make a game about it in the world.
But Jumpman exists in this world.
Yeah.
We see an arcade with Jumpman on it.
Well, it couldn't be Super Mario because it's a film.
Too self-aware.
Yeah.
So many. What makes sense? What's real? In discussion, and I mentioned this, the more I think about this, the more insufferable the film becomes. I think I'm down to a 3 out of 10 for this film.
What's your rating?
Oh, me? Well, I thought about the furry thing, so it's like a 4
It's like
or a
-5.
3.
It's like
Yeah.
it's still going down.
Yeah.
The more you think about furries.
But it does have top tier animation. I like Jack Black. I don't like him being a simp, but I like Jack Black. I also like the world. The world building itself is fun because I know it's from a game. Like if I didn't know anything about it, the questions would annoy me more. But because I know exactly where it's coming from, I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm just going to leave my reason at the door and let's just sit down and relax.
I'm insulted when a movie expects me to leave my reason at the door. How to Train Your Dragon didn't ask me to do that. In actual fact, it invited me to use my reason to see how creative just the underlining plot, how engaging that was in the film.
Well, not everything can be a masterpiece, Shad.
I wish they would. Wouldn't it be nice if they were, though?
But then would anything be a masterpiece then? If they were all masterpieces.
Now this is...
Yes. So, well, all the prequels are masterpieces. So, anyways, continuing.
It's existential now. I have to really think about it.
Think about the void.
But I think, fan fiction is always going to exist, that you can always get a good comparison to know what is good quality.
That's pretty much the whole film.
Yeah, that is the Super Mario Brothers. I'm interested to see what people think of this film, because I think
people love it.
I think it's going to be split. A lot of the fans are going to love it, and kids will love it. I think it still will do very well. I think people who want something of substance are not going to find it.
Shad,
Which world do we live in? When do people want substance?
Shad, get a load of this society. Like, people do not care about that.
Okay, so there are talks that they're making a Legend of Zelda movie. after this.
So now that one.
That okay, Mario. I'm turning my brain off for certain things because it's Mario. It's you're on mushrooms for the whole thing. If Legend of Zelda, that's when we're gonna be more critical of things.
Man,
If you think that I don't care about Mario, man, I do not care about Zelda.
I do. I want a Lord of the Rings Legend of Zelda. But make it as serious and full on as that.
Okay, well, you're setting yourself up for
I
disappointment.
know, they won't do that. They'll go the cartoony route. Better not be like Wind Waker. We want Chad Link,
you want
man.
like Twilight Princess.
We need,
you know.
yeah, exactly. Ocarina of Time,
yeah.
Link, Master Sword,
thank God.
Hyrule Shield.
Please, Nintendo, please.
There we go. But that's Super Mario Brothers. What do you think you have seen it? We do look forward to reading your comments. And as always, stay on watch.